Sawadika, good morning. Welcome to Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT Radio Thailand FM 88 and also NBT World. Thank you very much for joining us this Monday morning, May 25th, 2015. And I'm Cholapansa Narula. In today's Thailand Moves Forward, the Prime Minister has stressed that Article 44 and martial law are important for their effectiveness in helping restore peace and order in the country. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha delivered a special speech at Saturday's annual meeting of the Thai Chamber of Commerce Region 5, in which he said that the government would not want state agencies to disperse their budgets without ensuring every baht is to be spent on the best causes and in accordance with their planned strategies. General Prayut stated that only by doing so will Thailand grow further and in a sustainable fashion. He also said that the government still needs Article 44 of the interim constitution and martial law in administering the country and promoting peace and order. The Prime Minister also agreed with the University of Thai Chambers of Commerce's report, which suggested that the local economy is in the middle of a recovery path, although exports remain weak because of a slowdown in the economies of trading partners. The Internal Security Operations Command, or ISOC, says Thailand is more than willing to assist refugees and asylum seekers fleeing from a war, while insisting that Rohingyas have a different purpose coming into the kingdom. Colonel Banpot Poonpian, spokesperson of ISOC, said Thailand has 9 asylums in 4 provinces to shelter refugees fleeing from fighting or war. These provinces include Ratchaburi, Kanchanaburi, Tak and Mae Hong Son. These asylums are sheltering more than 100,000 refugees at the moment. He affirmed that Thailand has always been providing humanitarian aid and help, as well as taking care of these refugees at the best of its capacity. He noted that Rohingyas illegally entering the Thai territory are not different from the aforementioned refugees and can be divided into 2 categories, which are migrants who seek new residence and illegal immigrants. However, he said some Rohingyas are only using Thailand as a passage to get to a third country, as they are not looking to settle down in the kingdom. Experts and scholars from France and Germany have voiced that Thailand should learn from past experience and all previous constitutions. Kun Palada Muangsiri has a story.
During a special seminar organized by King Prachatipok's Institute, Professor Dominique Rousseau from the University of Paris shared France's political experiences with participants. Taking part in the seminar were members of the Constitution Drafting Committee, the National Reform Council, and the National Legislative Assembly. Professor Dominic said that a constitution always plays the most important role when a situation arises, especially in Europe, the USA, and other countries around the world, while the most effective solution to a political crisis is the enforcement of law. The professor compared a constitution to a vehicle with an engine and brakes. A strong charter must have 1. An engine, which is the government to mobilize the country, and 2. Brakes, which are the judiciary, courts, and independent organizations, according to Dominic, adding that the country must find a balance between these 2 drives. The French scholar said that the Constitution is the core of any country's attempt to resolve any crisis, and a balanced charter will be a successful instrument to help push all efforts to the finish line. He also suggested that Thailand make use of anything from previous charters that caused conflicts in drafting a more efficient constitution to successfully put an end to the crisis. The other 2 scholars who will be joining the seminar include Professor Michel Troper, also from the University of Paris, and Professor Ulrich Karpen from the University of Hamburg. Professor Troper will deliver his speech on May the 26th, while Professor Karpen's lecture will be given the following day. In the meantime, Deputy Prime Minister Witsanuk Krungam said the Thai government hope that this series of lectures will help promote more active communications about the charter drafting process, which has been criticized in many ways. This is Palada Muangsidi reporting.
Chairman of the Thai Chamber of Commerce, Isara Wongkusonkit, pointed out that the peaceful political situation and the government's work in line with its roadmap would help boost foreign investors' confidence. The chairman, however, admitted that Thai exports were affected by the global economy, especially economic slowdowns in the EU and China, prompting Thai businesses to adjust themselves and to do business with the neighboring countries more. The private sector was still concerned over the Thai government solutions to IUU fishing, despite cooperation between the government and international organizations in tackling the problem at its causes. The Chamber of Commerce chairman added that law enforcement was an important issue, which could prove that Thailand was determined to resolve the problem of IUU fishing in the kingdom. Let's have a look at the inheritance tax bill now. The National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, has passed the draft inheritance tax bill into law. During the third reading of the draft bill, NLA members voted 145 to 5 with 10 abstentions to pass the inheritance tax bill into law. The final draft was revised so the taxation would be incurred on inheritance amounts exceeding 100 million baht. The early drafts had stipulated that inheritance exceeding 50 million baht would be taxed. The current version of the bill stipulates that a 5% tax will apply to assets inherited by a person who is a child or descendant of the original owner. If the inheritor was not a descendant, he or she will be taxed 10% for the portion of the inheritance that exceeds 100 million baht. Finance Minister Sommai Phasi indicated that the bill will contribute towards the reduction of disparity and uplift the quality of life of the underprivileged. The law will take effect within 180 days after being announced in the Government Gazette. Constitution Drafting Committee, or CDC Chairman Professor Bawonsak Uwano, he has called on the public to carefully study the contents of the draft charter before making their choice in the referendum. Speaking at a seminar jointly held in Khon Kaen Province by the CDC, the National Reform Council, the King Prachatipok's Institute, and the Community Organizations Development Institute to promote the public's understanding of the draft charter and to gather public input on it, Professor Bawonsak said the CDC would continue taking in public input on the charter until the end of June. He asserted that the gathering of the public input was not ceremonial and that the charter would eventually be subjected to a referendum. Professor Bawonsak noted that the draft permanent constitution was created in response to the conflicts over the past 8 years, which had caused massive damage to the country. He said the intention of the drafters was to empower citizens, promote clean and balanced politics, and support a just society. He said whether or not the draft charter will be put in use depended on the results of the referendum, and therefore asked that all citizens study the draft charter in detail. Coming up next, we have a story from Kanchanaburi Province about a retirement home for elephants. Believe it or not, the foundation was established by one inspired person who cares about retired and sick elephants. Panot C. Sinsap has a story.
The elephant is Thailand's national animal, an animal that has a significance for Thais going back centuries. Over time, however, elephants have grown less important and the population has decreased. From 100,000 elephants roaming Thailand 100 years ago to only about 2,000 elephants left in the wild. An additional 3,000, however, are held captive to work in the illegal logging and poaching industries, and many are used in the tourism industry. When elephants grow sick and get older, they need care and protection just like humans. There are few facilities to fully support them. The situation inspired Dr. Samat Prasithpon to establish the Elephants World Foundation here in Kanchanaburi in 2008 as a non-profit organization built as a sanctuary for sick, old, disabled, abused, and rescued elephants where they can enjoy themselves in their natural habitat as they grow old.
I'm Dr. Samat Prasithpol. I'm the founder of we call in Thai Ban Chao Chang Chara. But the people from the foreigner that know that this is the elephant's world. We start in 2008, and now till now it's about 7 years.
His inspiration came from his experience working for the Animal Health Development Center, Provincial Livestock Office here in Kanchanaburi.
In Kanchanaburi, so have many elephant camp in this, and every time when I go to the elephant camp, we saw the one of the elephants that they have cannot be working, and we call it retire. Some elephants are sick and they cannot working anymore, and but we have not the place for take care for that. We talking with many people, and then we meet some people that he is the owner of this land, and we talking about the project together, and he agree with that, and then we start that moment. Yeah, and then we started with the first 3 elephants.
The first batch was Kamoon, Somboon, and Mali. All are rescued street elephants that have worked so hard, underfed, weak, and injured.
For normally we must to use the budget for everything, for building, for the food for the elephants, and that time that it happened because the foreigners are coming to visit, and they want to share about the experience about that they want to be close to the elephants.
The foundation has expanded to 18 elephants and 18 volunteers coming from every part of the world. It's also a tourist destination and an opportunity to be close to the magnificent Thai national animal. Join me tomorrow for a further behind the scenes at the Elephant World Foundation. Panosi Sinsap, NBG World, Kanchanaburi.
From animals to poetry now, because the next story focuses on popular live poetry and storytelling events drawing international crowds in Bangkok. NBT World reporter Joel Gershon recently went to one of the events and has this story about hearing other people's stories.
Our Bangkok poetry series.
Bangkok may not always feel like the most poetic setting, but there is an international group of local poets who occasionally meet up together and recite their work. At a recent event at the WTF Cafe on Sukhumvit Soi 51, there was an interesting mix of poetic styles as well as spoken word performance.
It's poems, slam poetry, spoken word, fiction, graphic novelettes, in various languages, music, what have you. So tonight you're going to get a little bit of each of those.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juices, but when the juices be blacker, tax and maverick and goose, and this is a next level stick up, yo, put your hands to the roof.
We would build an empire from the ground up because we could change the world, you and I.
Soft onyx clouds cloak the sky with sullen woolen. Thunder roar as monsoon almost arrived at gate.
Louis Wellmans from Colombia in South America gave a performance that stirred the crowd.
Mi amor no juzga, ni guarda resentimientos. Te amo.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience, sharing with all of them poetry in Spanish. Many people have said to me that it's been amazing for them because although some of them don't understand the words, they can feel.
I think we've noticed over the last 5 years an increase in the popularity of these events. More and more people come out. We have some regulars, but we have people kind of coming out of the woodwork.
After a short break, the event changed courses and it was time for Bombik Stories, which featured a range of speakers who recalled interesting experiences from their lives.
So I was very tempted. I could make $1,000 in 4 days. I became really addicted to the money because I didn't just do this 1 or 2 times.
Children can swing sharp cleaving insults like tiny butchers. They chop down hard for deep cuts.
I've spent my entire life trying to live up to and failing to live up to this standard of Asian American achievement. Jeremy Lin just makes it all worse because now it's not enough just to go to Harvard. You have to go to Harvard and then you have to be the starting point guard for the Knicks.
Everybody has a good story. Everyone has that story they tell their friends. And we want to I want to help find a wider audience for those stories. And I also want to give people the joy of performing.
While Bangkok Poetry and Bombik Stories were featured together this night, they are normally two separate events. For more information, you can find both online on their websites, bombikstories.tumblr.com and bangkokpoetry.blogspot.com, and both have Facebook groups as well. And this week on Wednesday, Bombik Stories will have another event at WTF.
Thank you very much to Joel for that story. And that's it for Thailand Moves Forward. We'll now have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices. And then after that, Newsline will take a break and we will be back with international news.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The fourth core value: seeking direct and indirect knowledge and education.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
Nepal has recently been hit by a massive 7.8 magnitude earthquake. The disaster has caused great damage to the country. Thousands of people lost their lives. Thousands of people lost their family. Thousands of people lost their homes. Millions of people are still in dire need of support. You can lend a helping hand by donating to these accounts.
We have received many calls offering help in kind, means trying to send goods, and they are asking how we can help. We are really humbled by the offer of the government and the people of Thailand for our people in Nepal, and we highly appreciate it.
Welcome back, you're watching Newsline. The Asia Environmental Enforcement Award ceremony has been held in Bangkok recently by the United Nations Environment Programme and also Freeland. It recognizes the outstanding work of concerned organizations in enforcing environmental laws. Kun Niranut Traijakwanit has more.
Environmental crime is not only a threat to animal species, habitats, and ecosystems, but also human health, livelihood, and economies. Many forms of crime against the environment are fast-growing, especially the exploitation of natural resources, trade in wildlife, and logging, owing to vast financial gains and low risk of detection and conviction. The Asia Environmental Enforcement Award, or AEEA, a joint cooperation between UNEP and Freeland Foundation, is an environmental award that recognizes outstanding work of enforcement officers and organizations in an effort to demonstrate their dedication to combating environmental crime. Salma Warren, Deputy Director of Freeland Foundation, explained more about the AEEA.
And we're here at the United Nations to award those frontline officers that have gone beyond the call of duty to combat the illegal wildlife trade. This is the first time we've held one of these events, so we're very excited. We have a number of people coming from different countries who will receive the awards, including Thailand, the Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, as well as other countries.
Around 13 individuals and organizations hailing from China, India, the Philippines, Republic of Korea, Thailand, Tonga, and Vietnam are being recognized for their exceptional work in the fight against environmental crime. Police Colonel Sihanat Prayunrat, Secretary General of the Anti-Money Laundering Office of Thailand, or AMLO, said the office has played a significant role in suppressing criminal rings involved in the trade in protected wildlife and timber, having seized an equivalent of $39.4 million worth of illicit goods.
My office, in short, we call AMLO. We take the actions, seizing of the assets in many cases in the past, and totally we seized the asset for almost $40 million approximately. What we have done so far, we not only the wildlife, but when we work on the case, we know that the wildlife business will be consolidated with the illegal logging business as well, because when they deliver illegal logging, they will get an order for the wildlife.
The problem of illegal trade and endangered plant and wildlife species is threatening several countries in Asia. Animals especially vulnerable to poaching due to high demands for their body parts include tigers, elephants, bears, and exotic birds and reptiles. The AEEA is aimed to encourage countries, organizations, and individuals in Asia to boldly and fearlessly combat environmental crime and to allocate more resources for the cause in order to make the world a better place. I'm Niranut Traijakwanit reporting.
In other news, 3 people were killed and over a dozen wounded late Sunday night after an improvised explosive device went off outside a roadside restaurant in Pakistan's industrial city hub. Police sources said the device was planted in a motorcycle parked outside the restaurant and was possibly aimed at the convoy of President Maumoon Hussein's son that passed by seconds before the blast occurred. A security official said the convoy of the president's son, Salman Hussein, who frequently visits a cattle farm in Hub, had barely passed by the area when a huge explosion occurred. Salman Hussein was not hurt in the blast. An assistant sub-inspector of the Karachi police and 3 other policemen on duty to guard Salman sustained injuries, the police have said. Ahmed said at least 3 of the wounded commandos were in critical condition. And that's the time we have for Newsline today. So we end the program now. If you do have the suggestions or comments you'd like to share with us, please feel free to email us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. And you can also follow us on Facebook by typing in NNT. We say goodbye with some pictures of the Thailand team beating 10-man Vietnam in the World Cup qualifiers. So let's have a look at the pictures congratulating Thai team. And I'm Cholapan Sanarula. Until then, goodbye. Sawasdee ka.